just a joke. Kind of have to, don't you?
Yeah.
Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us here on After GMS. I'm glad you have your Facebook live stream going and that you are already connecting with us. I'm Tracey McCain. Taran Kirksey is working from home. We are your team, your go-to team for two today, and we have a lot to talk about, but everybody's talking about this forecast because you look at the temperatures and you're like, yeah, this is exciting. And then you step outside and it smacks you in the face, the heat and humidity.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right? I think a lot of us like warm weather, but there aren't too many fans of humidity. Unfortunately, we are going to have both of those situations with us today. You add a little bit of heat to the mix and you see pop-up showers and storms, and that's what we are expecting again today. The best chance of rain will be during the afternoon and early evening hours. High temperatures in the lower 80s. We'll do this all over again tomorrow, although I think we'll see a little bit more sunshine tomorrow than what we're probably going to see out there today. Then a cold front moves through tomorrow night, and that will usher in cooler and drier air. That means our rain chances go away and our high temperatures dip down into the low to mid 70s, but that cool down will be short-lived. At least that's the way it looks right now, as we'll see our high temperatures back in the mid 80s on Thursday. I put 85 for the forecasted high temperature on Thursday, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of us made it up to the upper 80s. Maybe some indications that it could get a little bit warmer than that. We'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, unsettled weather through Saturday, and then we're quiet after that as we go into early next week.
Well, it is Friday, and boy, I know I'm happy about it. You might be happy. Taran's shaking his head. He's happy. You on Facebook are also happy. So glad for that because it's the weekend. And that means that some of you are feeling comfortable with making plans while others aren't. Businesses certainly are reopening. So we want to check in and see what your life looks like now that we are in phase two. Are you going to retail stores? Are you going out to eat in restaurants? Or are you staying put at home? So we'll see what you're saying here. Wendy Artist Stewart says, I'm an essential worker. I work, get what I need, go home, shower, I'm in for the day. I don't go back out until I work again. Vicki Cook says, I have shopped in a clothing store since phase two began. It really hasn't affected me much. I just go with gloves and an extra pair and a mask. Suzanne Brown says, we finally got to eat breakfast inside a restaurant Monday and it was fabulous. The food was great and the staff was happy because they were finally being able to work and earn a living. Valerie Lynette mainly said, she is mainly staying home except for grocery shopping. She's not comfortable with being in a public setting yet. There are too many variables, she says, that need to be met for her comfort level. All right, and that's really what it comes down to, Taran, is that everyone has a different level of comfort. So if you are ready to get back out there, you are full steam ahead. For some other people, it's a little slower of a process. How fast are you jumping back into the shopping experience?
We're kind of easing in. We have been to a couple of retail stores, with our mask and things like that. But for us, it's kind of just the process, kind of gradually easing back into things. But you make a very good point. Everyone is different. Everyone has different tolerance levels for, wanting to go out right now, a lot full speed ahead. Other people want to be more cautious. I just want to continue to encourage people to respect each other. I'm going to jump on the soapbox again. You just see in the comment sections on Facebook and all of the social media things that are out there that, people are going after each other for their tolerance levels as far as, this whole situation is concerned. And that's just not right. Okay. Respect each other. Understand that some people are, I guess, not as cautious as others. That's fine. Other people are more cautious. That's fine. Let's all just try to get along, do what we need to do to help ourselves and help our society get a little bit closer to whatever you want to call normal again.
Yeah, you bring up valid points, Taran. Everybody is different. Everyone has different levels of comfort, especially during an unprecedented time. No one my age group has ever had to deal with something like this. The last kind of outbreak I had to deal with was chickenpox, and there was soon a vaccine afterwards for it. So, it's just a different time, and we're all adjusting differently. I know I was comfortable going to get my hair done the other day, but I called my stylist first and said, hey, what process do you have in place? And she was like, oh yeah, sanitizing. I'm wearing a mask. You better be wearing a mask. You're my only appointment. And I'm going to get you out of here in 2 hours because I got another one coming in 30 minutes after you. And I was like, nice. So it was perfect. And I enjoyed my experience. And I actually hope it stays that way because I'd rather be in the salon by myself than with 10 to 12 other people waiting for the same service. So, it's definitely different. Doctors' offices are different. There's no more waiting room. I went to the dentist. I had to wait in my car, and then they called me on my phone, and they were like, okay, you can come in now. And then the door was locked. They had to unlock it and check my temperature. Everything is totally different. And I think we just have to go with the flow. Be safe. That's just the main priority here is our safety. So let's get to some people who are talking about this on Facebook because there are a lot of different opinions out there. And you don't necessarily have to agree with us, but I do like what you said about respect, and that is a key thing. So Casey says, she hasn't changed her life much, but she's enjoying eating at home. She is not going back out to eat. And also we're hearing from, Stanley Graves, who said she's staying home and she encourages everybody to have a good weekend at home. Renee Hall says she's staying home and saving lives. Corey said that, it's been a busy week, so they're looking forward to staying home. Charlie says just shopping and staying home for now. So if I go down, I'm pretty sure there are varying opinions, but those were just the top of the feed, and they all said they were staying home. But I'm pretty sure that down the line here, someone is just like, get out, enjoy. Let's go live life a little bit. So there are different opinions. I'm just cautious, but tiptoeing back in. Tippity toe.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just tiptoe in.
Like the water's too warm.
Exactly. I'm a similar way. Anytime there's a new situation, a different situation, I like to kind of assess things before I, really move quickly. But other people like to just jump in. Mm-hmm. So, that's just kind of the way it is. Again, everyone's different. Let's just try our best to be understanding and have some tact when we're commenting with each other on Facebook. And I know I'll get off that soapbox, but you just see so much negativity and people going back and forth at each other for having opposing opinions. It's too much sometimes.
All right. Well, listen, you'll like this because we're going to take a break from that. We're going to go right into our news headlines, and there is a lot to talk about here, too, so we'll jump right into it. Alamance County leaders say they have no plans to enforce a limit on fans at a speedway this weekend. The speedway's first race opened to the public last weekend, and 2,500 people attended. Governor Roy Cooper's executive order only allows 25 people at outdoor gatherings. County leaders say they will not enforce the capacity guideline because they call it unconstitutional. The RNC submitted a plan to Governor Cooper's office about how they plan to hold a convention in Charlotte this August. It includes the following measures: hand sanitizing stations, temperature and health checks for attendees, screenings from healthcare officials, pre-sanitized modes of transportation, and tightened restrictions for food services inside the stadium. Governor Cooper has said he will make a decision about how the convention can operate using science and data. Checking in on a big national story, overnight a Minnesota police station burned down as protests continued surrounding the police custody death of George Floyd. The building was evacuated several hours prior due to threats. George Floyd died on Monday after being arrested by police officers. Video of his arrest showed an officer with his knee on Floyd's neck while Floyd repeatedly said he could not breathe. The mayor of Minneapolis spoke early this morning saying the destructive protests are not the answer.
What we have seen over the past several hours and the past couple of nights in terms of looting is unacceptable. Our communities cannot and will not tolerate it.
Well, let's get to the other big national story. The Boston Marathon is off for the first time ever. Organizers originally postponed the race from April until September, but now they say there's no way to hold the event without bringing large crowds close together. So they canceled it with plans to bring it back next year. All right, we have something fun to talk about because nobody likes to talk about COVID-19 all the time. So we're going to talk about TikTok, and we're not talking about the clock that goes TikTok. We're talking about an app that probably your children are using, maybe even you're using, I don't know. But I asked you on Facebook because reports show videos, the sharing app has been downloaded millions of times since the quarantine. So I wanted to know if you're using it because I feel like I'm the only one who's not using it. Wendy Miller Cutler said, I look at it to see what my daughter is laughing about. Now I'm hooked, watching it all at the end of the day. Susan Mitch Hall says, my husband TikToks like a teenage girl. Sorry. Cammie Davenport Kane says, I haven't tried it. You're not by yourself, LOL. Thank you. And Sherry Walker said, we did it the second week of the pandemic. It was fun family time. She said, I actually got a few videos left on her page, so we want to check in on one of them. This is Tiffany Hunt's photo or video of her granddaughter, Boston, dancing. Take a look. I've got to see how this works. Okay. So, Taran, is your understanding of TikTok that it is a video app that you can play music on? Like, what's your knowledge of TikTok?
Well, I mean, I have TikTok. I don't post anything. I just kind of lurk on there.
Oh,
and
you
just
are
kind
a
of
lurker.
swipe through and laugh at some of the funny videos. But to me, it reminds me of, I don't know if you remember Vine, where you had those short videos and, you know, people could sing or dance or say funny stuff. And it looks like, you know, in some cases, people can play videos or they can, or play music and, or they can voice over, you know, different clips from movies and people will just, people who are more creative than me definitely can kind of splice together clips and things of sometimes their dogs, their pets, or you know their kids or whatever, and just kind of post funny videos. They tend to be funny. That's all I know. So that's the extent of my knowledge.
Well, that's more than I had, so that's good. Are you able to like edit within the app, or you have to edit it somewhere else and then post it onto the app?
You can edit within the app.
Okay.
I haven't figured out how that works. There's some buttons and stuff on there. I can't help you there. But I do know that I've seen like some editing things. See, I tried to do a TikTok with my pets like a couple weeks ago. And after about 15 minutes of struggling with it, I realized, number one, I'm not as young as I used to be because I can't figure out any of this stuff. And number two, I quit. So now that's why I just lurk now.
So apparently, like going over the Facebook comments on my page the other day, I gotta say it's not an age thing because I thought I was just aged out of TikTok. But there were one woman who is a 72-year-old grandmother says that she TikToks because she was bored and her granddaughter taught her how to do it. And so now she TikToks and she says that she'll, you know, pretend that sometimes she's Martha Stewart cooking and like her granddaughters will edit Martha Stewart's voice onto her cooking videos. So now that I have that understanding of the background that you were talking about, I understand how that works. But at first I was like, what? How do you do that? So it's not really an age thing, apparently. It's more of like, who can teach you
I don't know if I
how to do it, right? So let's see. Sheree says, I watch it on Facebook, but don't have an account. So apparently you can cross social streams here. Wanda says she has not tried it. And Heather Harness says, I don't have an account on TikTok, but my friend has it. She said, I'm just not interested in it. So, I mean, we've seen this kind of, before with other, app sites and the latest things that come out where, what was that one? Was it Snapchat? Is that still popular?
Mm-hmm. I think that's one. And then there are a bunch of other ones that I
kind of like phase in and phase out.
Yeah, I can barely operate Facebook or Twitter, so that's about the extent of the social media that I can, my little non-creative, pitiful brain can handle. That's about the best I can do.
Right. Well, when my children are old enough to understand how this works, I'm sure I'll be all over it. But right now, we're sticking to Sesame Street and all that other great jazz. All right, thanks so much for helping us out. Again, don't worry, Tehran, you're not old. You're just advanced.
Okay, that's what we'll call it. All right, well, I'll tell you what, I'll advance on to talking about the weather really quickly here. The same old weather the next couple of days. Today, tomorrow, scattered showers and storms, mainly during the afternoon and evening hours. Highs in the 80s. Cold front moves through Saturday night. And then we have cooler and slightly drier weather to start next week. Highs Monday, low to mid 70s. And then we'll see things warm back up again late next week. And there are some indications that Thursday we could see high temperatures in the upper 80s, maybe a little bit warmer than that. We shall wait and see on that. But for now, I'm going to forecast high right around 85%.
I remember this month it was so cold some mornings, and I was like, oh, I can't wait until it's 80 degrees again. And now that it's here, I'm like, do we have a few more months of this? So, you're just never quite happy in North Carolina, are you?
Well, yeah, that's right. The grass is always green on the other side.
Exactly. Right? Weather is always all over. All right, thanks so much for joining us here on Facebook Live. Thanks for chatting with us. We encourage you to have a safe weekend no matter what you decide to do. Continue to social distance, follow the CDC guidelines, be safe, and we'll be right back here with you on Monday. Take care, everybody, and have a great weekend.